Now my mic's on. Hello there, beautiful humans of the interwebs. Welcome to eSpot Live. My name is Ellie. This is Rodney. We are your regular hosts here bi-weekly. Today I'm expecting it to be a little bit different just because this week's been a little bit different for Devious Eye Entertainment because, spoiler alert, we're at E3! But we decided to add in some normalcy as well and continue on with eSpot Live. So for those of you who are regulars, welcome back. Good to see you in the chat. And for those of you who are new to just kind of our regularly scheduled eSpot Live, go over a little bit of what you can expect. As I said already, my name's Ellie. You may have seen me heading up some of the table talks for Devious Eye Entertainment during E3. And doing some interviews here and there. I also stream, and on this particular stream, I babble. So essentially what eSpot Live is we grab some topics that we think are interesting, that are related to the entertainment industry, and we just chat about them. I go on about them, we talk, you chime in the chat, and I comment on that as well. We've got a lot of people, so we've got Devious. Is that Treppin or T-Reppin? Like, are you reppin' T? For Devious. Also Chakra Monkey in the chat. I love seeing new people here. It's so exciting. Panda, of course. Always good to see you here. Again, if you are new to eSpot Live, I always start these streams with a disclaimer because something always goes wrong. Last week it was the lighting. This week the lighting's a little bit better. Still not as nice as I like it, but you know, we're getting there. But this time around, it seems to be the interwebs. I am getting notifications of a couple of drop frames here and there. That's not what I like to see, but it's not as bad as it gets. So I might just like call it a win unless it gets super bad. So I do rely on you guys in the chat. Let me know if anything goes super wrong, if the sound's off or too loud, too quiet, or if a lot of frames are dropping and I'm not coming across smoothly. I always like if you let me know. So that way I can do what I can to fix it. In this case, there's a storm. So that is definitely why the internet connection is not as strong as I like it to be. Devious Treppin said I have it right the first time. Just a coincidence with the name. Okay. Nice. Well, welcome. Panda in there with the emojis and bits. Thank you for that. This is just so exciting. So yeah, I'm very distracted by the chat, clearly. But that's what we like to see here. Ellie getting distracted. No, genuinely though, I am super, super stoked for all of E3. I'm super stoked for eSpot Live, like I always am, to chat with you guys. I had mentioned it of the past couple of days. I don't know what all you guys have seen and what you haven't, but part of why we do eSpot Live is to really build up a community. So, yeah, never be worried about distracting me in the chat because it will happen, and that's what we're here for. So yeah, I think I've got my disclaimers out of the way. Like I said, I am aware that the stream is not quite as smooth as I'm hoping for. That's just because there's a storm on. There's not too much I can do, but if it gets too bad, let me know, and I'll see what changes I can make. Aside from that, everything seems to be running smoothly. So, fingers crossed, this will be a good stream. I'm super, super excited for today. And, yeah. With all of that ado, we should jump in, I suppose. So first off to chat about today is a little bit of Jurassic World 3. I love the Jurassic Park and the Jurassic movies so much because I'm a geek, but also because it's just the whole concept of the fact that it just went so poorly the first time around. Not like the movies. The movies are great, obviously, but like in world. Right? They make these dinosaurs and it just doesn't end well. So they're like, you know what? We're going to do it again. I love it. Also, who doesn't love Chris Pratt? So all of that there. This particular moment though, what I'm going to dig into is a really exciting confirmation from the Jurassic World 3 director, which is that the original trio are not only going to make appearances in this third Jurassic World movie, but they're actually going to have like they're in it. They're in it for the full film. which, oh my gosh, I'm legit stoked about. So the original Jurassic Park trio, Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, they will be in the entirety of Jurassic World Dominion. This is directly from the director, Colin Trevorrow. So Goldblum reprised his beloved role as Ian Malcolm in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and he will be back and joined by former co-stars when Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler return in the upcoming sequel. So typically speaking, when we see older, beloved characters come in reboots or sequels or anything in this case, usually it says like a bit of a cameo. And so that's, I think, what the expectation was when we found out that they were going to be here. But it looks like it's going to be a bit more than that, which is super, super exciting. Because according to the director, the original trio are major players in the events of Jurassic World 3. So Sattler, Malcolm, and Grant, the characters were all created by Jurassic Park author Michael Crichton for his original novel. They were all changed a bit in their transition from page to screen, as always happens. But they continued to be the lead protagonists throughout the original trilogy of films, with Malcolm taking the starring role in The Lost World, and Grant returning as the main character of Jurassic Park 3, which also featured a cameo by Dern Sattler. So they've kind of all been sprinkled in and out of the first trilogy, as we know, if you've seen it. Obviously, the series has always been mainly about dinosaurs and, God complex. But it's also about the characters, plays a huge role in it, and I think if the original kind of three big characters hadn't been as lovely as they were, as I don't know, my brain's coming up with the word hooking, but that doesn't make sense, but it does in my brain. Like, they caught the audience's attention. Anyways, if that hadn't have happened, the films wouldn't have been the success that they were, and we wouldn't even have Jurassic World, right? So super excited about that. Again, the original news that the three would be returning already had people stirred up and excited. But again, now that we're finding out that it's going to be a larger role, it's not just a cameo, it's not just a hat tip for fans. Like, they're legitimately bringing them back for these films. Super, super exciting. They're going to be major characters within the film. They're going to go on their own adventure together. They're going to collide with the modern characters from the new movies. It's going to be a celebration of everything that was originally created with the books, what was recreated with the original films, and what all the other directors have contributed over the years. This is just like an amalgamation of everything together. And I am beyond excited about this. Obviously, we're not going to know everything. We're not going to have all the details until Jurassic World 3 finally hits theaters June 10th, 2022. So we do have a year of, just being excited and wondering how this is going to go. We'll have to see. Are the dinosaurs, are they finally going to establish some sort of harmony? Are they going to wipe out humanity for good? Will they be wiped out for good? We'll have to see. But I think the best stories are ones written by fans, or performed by fans, and that's just my personal opinion. But I always love seeing fans create things that they nerd out over, because it turns into like well-told fan service in a sense. So like the example that comes to mind that I think a lot of people are familiar with, if you're familiar with the sci-fi realm at least, is David Tennant on Doctor Who, was a renowned fan of the show, became the Doctor, and had such fun on set and such passion for the role that he made a lot of people fall in love with it too. And I think that happens often when you have somebody who's like a legitimate fan at the helm or really involved in something, then it really becomes not only a good story, but a good story that people can resonate with in new ways. And I think that's what's happening here, is everybody's all coming together. All of these fans who have worked on it over the years, who just have nerded out over the originals, are just wrapping it all up, and I'm really, really super excited to see what that finale is gonna bring. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and yeah, that's all I really have on that particular topic, is just me nerding out over other people nerding out over people coming to the show. So yeah, that's what I got there. If y'all have thoughts, again, pop them in the chat, and I'd love to hear them. But yeah, I always, like I said, I love stuff like that. I love the cameos, but like the fact that they're writing them in as like major players in the film. Like, yes, my little nerd heart is so happy. Next up is a bit more of a serious topic. Another thing I feel like I should throw out there for anyone who might be stopping by and not familiar with the format of eSpot Live is that I'm kind of renowned for not being good with transitions. So I kind of jump all over the place with topics, and even when it's like set up for me, I just can never transition smoothly. So there's not really a good way to jump from something super excited into this, but EA has been hacked, which is not necessarily new. That's actually something I talked about on a prior stream of eSpot Live quite a while ago, because that was earlier this year when it first happened. The stolen data and source code is being sold online, which is kind of ongoing as well, but we're learning more and more about what information was contained in there, and that's what I want to chat about this stream. Earlier this year, CD Projekt Red fell victim to a massive data breach. It resulted in source code being sold and other information being pandered, and I think the emphasis on that was on the games and the gaming information that was trafficked, and for good reason. You know, that's something that a lot of people are invested in. It's a lot of money on the line, a lot of people's livelihoods on the line. And then it turned out some of the community was kind of making jokes about this following the release of Cyberpunk 2077. But I think what wasn't really talked about quite enough was that there's quite a dangerous side to this, specifically with employee personal information that was sold, including home addresses for employees. The Polish studio is far from the only one to be hit with this kind of breach. And now another major company is reporting stolen data as well. And so it looks like EA has been hacked. This is like, when I started eSpot Live, this is something that I've actually covered quite a few times for different companies, being hacked, being breached. And like I said, the emphasis is always on, even when I talk about it, is always on the games and what was leaked of the games. But yeah, each time they're always very quick to let the public know that no customer or consumer data was leaked, which is a good thing. Like, we need that confirmation, and it's important that is the case. But just because consumers are safe in these instances, like I said, the employees less so. So with the EA leak, or hack, or however you want to look at that, or however words work, of all the data stolen, there's source code to FIFA 21, as well as a whole bunch of valuable developer tools. And it's not just limited to the Frostbite engine either. According to the initial report, the hackers are looking to sell the source code, which is very similar, like I said, to what had happened to the CD Projekt Red hack, for what is right now an undisclosed dollar amount. The total amount of data stolen is reportedly up to 780 gigabytes worth. EA is looking into the incident. A spokesperson told BBC, "We are investigating a recent incident of intrusion into our network where a limited amount of game source code and related tools were stolen." They also have verified that no player data has been accessed, and at this time there's no reason to believe that any player privacy is at risk. EA also confirmed that the proper authorities have been contacted. So the quote goes on to say, "This incident demonstrates the fact that even high-tech organizations are vulnerable to potential data breaches." And so known security advocate Eric Kron talked to Game Informer about the event, saying, "In this case, the source code for several products, some very valuable and costly to produce intellectual property, has been stolen by the cyber criminals and offered on the open market. Interestingly, at this time, it appears they did not attempt to ransom the data back to EA, but instead chose to offer it to the highest bidder. If this data includes a significant amount of proprietary information, it may be valuable to competitors, or it may include information or vulnerabilities that could be used in future attacks against EA products or customers with installed EA games." He adds, "Unfortunately, these successful attacks are often a byproduct of human error. Reused passwords or harvested credentials are common ways for attackers to gain access to systems and networks. For this reason, it's a wise move for organizations to regularly educate employees about potential attack vectors and the importance of being vigilant for attacks that may target them. In addition, robust data loss prevention controls can help spot when sensitive data may be moving out of the victim's network and play an important role in an organization's layered security strategy." So that's such an interesting thing for me, mostly from that legal aspect. If you've seen one of these before, you know I am a nerd for the lawsuits and for the legal aspects of online presence in general, because I think it's very limited in a way. As society shifts and more things are going online, the law is slow to keep up with it, mostly because it takes a very long time to create a law, to enforce a law, anything like that. And technology is moving so quickly. The internet is moving and growing so quickly that it's been kind of difficult to keep up with that. And now, obviously, this is illegal. Hacking into data and stealing source code is 100% illegal. But how to then go about actually enforcing it, how to then go about prosecuting people if you can even catch them, and to begin with, we haven't really worked that out as a society yet, so this kind of thing is always fascinating to me. But as I mentioned before, worth chatting about just from that perspective of this isn't just game companies losing gaming data. This also typically includes a lot of personal information, and even when the players and the consumers are protected, the employees aren't necessarily. So yeah, I guess before we kind of jump into, well, you know, they're a big company, they can deal with it, it's important to think about the people who are being impacted by this. So yeah, a little bit of a more serious thing to kind of babble about there. I think my battery is dying. Bear with me. It's going to be a fun little detour here. Ignore the sound effects. The man behind the curtain having to plug in technology so it doesn't die. There we go. That'll do it. And we're back. Never really left though. That's okay. That's all I got on that particular topic. If y'all have thoughts or expertise in either hacking or leaks or cyber legality, please let me know, because I love that stuff. In the meantime, I'm going to move on to yet another lighthearted topic, in that Netflix has officially announced WitcherCon coming in July. I am more excited by this than I probably should be. So Netflix has finally confirmed it is officially launching a WitcherCon in partnership with CD Projekt Red and Netflix. The event will take place July 9th, 2021. Details right now are very scarce, but more are expected to be announced in the upcoming weeks. There's an official tweet announcing the event, but we're not necessarily expecting a new installment of the Witcher video game series to be announced, because the official WitcherCon website confirmed that no new game will be unveiled at the event, but a schedule reveal is coming soon. So no clue what this is about. They've got something up their sleeves, obviously. Panamental in the chat. Henry Cavill is Gerald is... I think I butchered the name. Why can't I think of how to pronounce that name? Yeah, it's Gerald, right? Oh gosh, I'm now showing the fact that I am not as knowledgeable in gaming as I want to be. I know this one, but my brain is just blanking, which is fine. It's a Monday. Happy Monday. After a very busy weekend as well. Feel free to call me out, though. Also, I concur, Panda. Anyways, the official news was announced during the final day of Netflix's Geeked Week, a celebration of Netflix's genre content, including Stranger Things, Umbrella Academy, and the likes. Like other installments, this announcement furthered Netflix gaming adaptation strategy, which is one that obviously includes successful takes on series like The Witcher, as well as upcoming bets like Resident Evil. Netflix is also not the only company looking to make the next big thing by relying on popular gaming series. HBO is working on Last of Us series, which I talked about. I'm super excited about that, mostly because her name's Ellie, which is the best name for obvious reasons. That's a partnership with Sony and Naughty Dog as well, while Sony is finally getting ready to release its live-action Uncharted movie starring Tom Holland. So gaming IP was once kind of seen as this just never-ending line of failed movie adaptation attempts. is finding solid hope once again, and Netflix has done an excellent job so far, so they're definitely a competitor to make the best adaptations possible and hopefully get people hooked for years to come. So yeah, I'm super stoked because we've talked as well on eSpot Live before about the fact that gaming adaptations tend to be very wildly hit and miss when it comes to seeing them on the big screen or the little screen on your TV. I feel like even more adaptations in general, let's be clear, adaptations in general are hit and miss, but gaming adaptations are just notorious for like being, I think, more miss than hit and being wildly missed when it comes to adaptations. And then recently we've just been seeing these adaptations that are on point, and it gives me hope because video games are just such a wealth of storytelling. Oh, I am here for it. And so, yeah, totally stoked for that. And now there's a convention being built around it. So, exciting stuff is coming. Next up to chat about more legal hubbub, which I love. That's not even a word. I don't know. I'm just saying things now, but y'all know what I mean. Yet another lawsuit. I'm here for the lawsuits, guys. Music publishers are suing Roblox for letting users upload pirated songs. So that's interesting. The National Music Publishers Association, or NMPA, has officially sued Roblox for letting users upload music from Ariana Grande, Imagine Dragons, deadmau5, and other artists without paying a licensing fee. The lawsuit is seeking $200 million in damages and a court order that will make the company crack down on piracy. The NMPA filed the suit recently on behalf of several major music publishers, so it's a collaborative event. That's how you know you're in it. When you have multiple publishers or companies or anything like that working together under like a common umbrella to come at you for something, that's how you know that you kind of like you're in it. Because that's a solid presence in the legal realm coming at them for this lawsuit. So it's essentially a lot of money towards lawyers is where I'm going with this. But this official suit accuses the company, a massively popular, mostly kid-focused platform for games and social experiences, but they're being accused of hosting a shared library of copyrighted but unlicensed songs. So the complaint alleges that Roblox actively preys on its impressionable user base and their desire for popular music, teaching children that pirating music is perfectly acceptable, end quote. So the site offers a library of audio files, 3D models, other assets for building experiences. Users can upload these files themselves, but the NMPA claims that Roblox actively encourages adding popular songs. It also notes that users pay for uploading audio files with in-game currency. So it goes on to say, Roblox allows a prodigious level of infringing material through its gates, purposely turning a blind eye for the sake of profit, end quote. Roblox has responded to the complaint on its website, saying, quote, "We are surprised and disappointed by this lawsuit, which represents a fundamental misunderstanding of how the Roblox platform operates, and will defend Roblox vigorously as we work to achieve a fair resolution," end quote. So that's the official statement from that company. It notes that they've partnered with music labels for authorized events like Lil Nas X concert last year. The company signed a licensing deal with APM Music in 2018. They also go on to say, "We do not tolerate copyright infringement, which is why we use industry-leading advanced filtering technology to detect and prohibit unauthorized recordings." So the complaint notes that if you search the library for exact names like Ed Sheeran or Ariana Grande, you don't get any results, but searching for partial terms like Sheeran or Ariana will pull up tracks labeled with popular songs from both artists. So, worth noting, not all of the labels are accurate. So one file titled Ed Sheeran, The Shape of You is actually a sound clip from The Purge, for instance. But the suit claims that the use of filtering technology has been nothing more than an empty gesture to mask its long history of instigating, inducing, and encouraging users, including children, to infringe copyrighted music. So pretty much all big web platforms clash with record labels at some point in time. The The disputes often end with a deal being struck. So the MPA and Google settled a very similar lawsuit over YouTube copyright infringement in 2011, which led to the platform's current royalty sharing agreement. And then alongside news of this lawsuit, the MPA announced a major ramp-up of copyright takedown notices against Twitch, which I've talked about a little bit before, which is pressuring parent company Amazon into expanding a currently limited licensing deal. Again, this very much goes into the limitations of, our ability to, as a people, properly enforce regulations online. It's very, very difficult to do. It's very, very easy to take advantage of the difficulty in doing so. I'm very curious personally to see how this lawsuit plays out, because like I said, the fact that there's multiple major companies teaming up against Roblox in this event kind of says that it's a bit of a big deal, and they've got a lot of pressure on their side. They've got a lot of power and joint funding, which is always good to have in a court. But it'll be very interesting to see how it plays out, because anything like this is tends to be precedent setting. And so if you establish a precedent of a judge leaning one way or the other, siding with one side or the other, it impacts future events. And that's something that I like to nerd out about. So I'm curious. We'll be keeping an eye on that in particular, just to see how it goes. And if it does make any changes that have those trickle-down effects. Also, since we're talking about copyright and whatnot, especially on Twitch, let me just go and mention that everything that you hear in my background personally when I stream is Zombie in a Jar, and I can stream Zombie in a Jar because it's connected to DVSI Entertainment. So this is music that some of us make here. I'm awkwardly typing in the chat right now, so you guys can look it up if you like. You can look up Zombie in a Jar on anywhere you can find music. They're on YouTube, they're on Spotify, they're on Apple Music, and if you poke around a little bit, for anyone who watched our main event when we were showing off all the games that we're in development with right now, if you saw and enjoyed Doomsday is also available across those music platforms. Shameless pitch, because it's my vocals, so there we go. So check it out, Zombie in a Jar, Doomsday, yay! And on that note, this is an excellent time for me to go on my regularly scheduled water break. For again, those of you who may be newish, I like to lecture people about drinking water because nobody at DVSI Entertainment is good about drinking water. So Jedi Roxy, if you're anywhere listening right now, water. Also everyone else, drink water. It's good for your kidneys. Be kind to your kidneys so they can be kind to you. I'll be right back. quick shout out because I saw a comment in there before I jump back in. Devious P159 said Henry Cavill just got cast as the next Highlander. Yes. I didn't want to let that, like, I knew that the chat would reset. I did not want that to disappear into the ether. I wanted to make sure that that got noted. We're all very excited for Henry Cavill and everything, clearly. But yes, thank you for that. Also, welcome Devious P at 159. I feel like I need a shortened version of that, but also P159 sounds... Yeah, I could go with that, maybe. Also, if you have a preferred nomenclature, let me know, and I'll do my best to remember it. But thank you for that. Next up to chat about, in topics that I am meant to be chatting about, so some of the press conferences at E3 have been really exciting, really beautiful. A lot of games, a lot of exciting stuff has been shared. I don't know if you guys were able to catch Microsoft's joint Xbox Bethesda showcase. They showed off some really, really incredible looking games that I'm so excited about. But what I might be more excited about than anything is the mini fridge. Because the Xbox mini fridge is officially becoming a reality. This fridge is shaped like an Xbox Series X, so it's a black rectangular box, which is not different from most fridges, but hey. According to the teaser, the fridge features Xbox Velocity cooling architecture, which suggests that there might be kind of console tech keeping your Monster Energy drinks cool. So back when, just to kind of go into that a little bit, back when the Series X was revealed in 2019, fans observed that the kind of just the console itself wouldn't look out of place supersized next to a dishwasher. So it was fans that originally made that connection between the Xbox Series X, the aesthetic of it, and the refrigerator. Microsoft would, have us believe that the shape was a design feature rather than a flaw, because apparently the fridge-like configuration was the most efficient way for the console to disperse heat. Kind of makes sense. That's what refrigerators do too. And then what I love about this is Microsoft didn't kind of take all this feedback and the jokes and the memes and freak out about it. They leaned into it, which is always the best move for any company, but like, good on you when you pull it off. So Microsoft full-on leaned into the joke. In tweets, they ran a contest that awarded one lucky winner a full-size Series X-styled fridge. So the question then is raised of how we go from that kind of like joke/meme to a one-off kind of hit to actually having a mini fridge close out one of the biggest video game showcases of the entire year. And the answer to that is kind of amazing. Also a topic that we chatted about a while back, but Microsoft got into a Twitter brand war with Skittles. I talked about this on eSpot Live. So this was back in April. Twitter hosted March Madness-esque bracket, which pit different brands against each other to see which company had the best how do you do fellow consumers tweets, essentially. So after beating out questionably good at Twitter brands like Wendy's and Mr. Peanut, the finals came down to Skittles and Xbox, which from an outside perspective I'm kind of surprised at, not because I dislike or don't trust in either of those companies, but because Wendy's Twitter is on point. But whatever. We had Skittles versus Xbox. It was a whole thing. Aaron Greenberg, the general manager of Xbox marketing, then tweeted and said if fans helped Xbox win the title bout against Skittles, he would make the Series X fridge real, albeit smaller. Mini fridges. Xbox won the fake poll by a razor-thin margin, and Microsoft, true to its word, has put the mini fridges into production. It's essentially just an energy drink storage case. It's a mini fridge. It's scheduled to hit stores just in time for Christmas. Heyo. Just saying. Xbox, Microsoft, if you wanted to, just give out fridges for any reason, or for Christmas or birthdays. I can have a birthday. That's how that works, right? But no, in all honesty, that is my favorite thing. That is my favorite thing ever. Like, I'm excited for the games, don't get me wrong. This isn't meant to take away from that. But they actually did it. We did it. We did it as a people, as a fan base of nerds demanding a product. It works, guys. Yeah, I could go on about this for a while, but there's not really much more to actually say. I'm just super stoked that this Xbox mini fridge exists. I'm a wild one. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. I'm gonna move on before I dig this hole deeper. Next up to chat about XQC has taken over Ubisoft Forward using Twitch chats, which is kind of fun. So Ubisoft provided the first big surprise of E3 2021 with Avatar Frontier of Pandora's... Oh gosh, why didn't I word that correctly? Avatar Frontier of Pandora's big reveal. That sentence was difficult for no reason. I watched that reveal and it was fantastic. But then a Twitch star, XQC, arguably stole the show with his hilarious watch-along antics during the Far Cry 6 slot. So this is a Canadian streamer, a regular viewer when it comes to big industry trade fairs and press conferences, and he live streams the footage for his fans to enjoy. Ubisoft Forward was no different. So fans of his and of the games on the show tune in to see his reactions as new trailers or details unfold for upcoming releases. During the conference, gamers were given a closer look at Far Cry 6's Season Pass, Riders Republic, a new Avatar title, and more. So not every second of the official livestream was as entertaining as the really big moments, so XQC found a way of entertaining people in the slower periods by sparking a hilarious chat spam. So at one stage, the narrative creative director for Far Cry 6 showed up on the screen for a quick Q&A. And as that was happening, XQC decided to spice things up and possibly even confuse the E3 show presenters by starting the most unlikely wave of comments in the chat. So he posted, ! Water Buffalo. And soon after, thousands of his viewers flooded the chat with the phrase. A clip of the moment has gone viral on social media, racking up over 42,000 views on since the showcase ended. The former Overwatch pro player has such a dedicated fan base on Twitch that taking over chats like this in a matter of seconds is a regular occurrence, but due to E3's online nature, they took over E3. Whether or not they'll be doing so for future shows remains to be seen, but they've certainly already made their mark confusing people reading the chat as the conference was live, so job well done where they're concerned. But yeah, a lot of fun stuff there. Just goes to show doing life online is interesting, and it's a bit different than when you're in person. But also, it's always fun to have fun. I feel like it's like the equivalent of if you're at a live showcase and somebody just starts the wave and everybody goes with it. It's pretty much the same thing, but online. You can't physically wave. Well, you can, but nobody would see you unless you're streaming. That got weird. Anyways, next up, Jeff Keighley has shared E3 co-stream rejection letter, which is interesting. So, gaming's most famous faces tend to be animated characters, like Mario, Sonic the Hedgehog, but you could make a case that Summer Game Fest and the Game Awards host Jeff Keighley is making his way up the ranks, notably in gaming. You could also make the case that he's some sort of gaming robot, given how long the guy can keep hosting an event, but there you go. But it comes as some surprise for some people that E3 decided that not to have Jeff Keighley adding his own spin on the various presentations. But that's exactly what they ended up saying. So they handed him a rejection to co-stream during the all-digital event, saying the exclusive E3 co-streaming program had limited availability and co-streaming spots were quickly filled. And then Keighley went and shared that on Twitter. They went on to say, we hope to continue the program next year with larger availability and encourage you to reapply next year for the opportunity to take part, end quote. Keighley then sent a follow-up tweet saying, anyone else get this email or just me? It is also worth noting that while it's surprising due to Keely's presence in the gaming industry, maybe less surprising due to the falling out with ESA last year, when Keely publicly announced that he was going to skip E3 2020 after the ESA said they wanted a more festival approach with more fans and influencers and fewer industry pundits. And then COVID-19 happened, so E3 2020 didn't. And instead, the Summer Game Fest was started by Jeff Keely. Panda's in the chat saying, I got the same email as well, literally minutes before Public Access went live. Seriously? I don't know how that works. I didn't email them. Interesting that's how that works. But yeah. So after obviously this was stirred up by Jeff Keely, and other content creators did end up hitting up and sharing their thoughts on Twitter as well, the ESA issued the following statement in response. Quote, we welcome anyone who would like to co-stream the event to do so. It just wouldn't be in an official capacity. E3's goal with official co-streaming is to embrace the creator community, and since this is the first time we've ever done official co-streaming with creators, we decided on a small select group this year to monitor the opportunity and see how we can apply it to future E3s. Out of all the applicants, less than 100 creators/brands were selected for official co-streaming, which consisted of our official distribution service and media partners, as well as a diverse group of influencers and creators who consistently create video game content across YouTube, Twitch, and or Facebook. Again, we welcome everyone who's interested to co-stream. We're just reminding them to recognize the terms of service for each platform. End quote. So, fun stuff there. I feel like E3 this year is definitely a learning experience for a lot of people. It's been a unique and new and exciting endeavor for many companies, many people, including Devious Eye Entertainment, because we're part of E3. Freaking out just a little. It's fine. It's awesome. It's exciting. But there's definitely a learning curve happening here with E3 being an all-digital event. It'll be very, very interesting to see how this goes on next year, what they keep of the digital event format. I'm personally assuming that they're also going to kind of expand it to be in person as well. So if they'll have it kind of be dual, online and in person, or if this is like a mark of things to come, that it's just set to kind of primarily be online. I'm not quite sure what they're doing with this, but that's okay. But it'll be very, very interesting to see just what we've learned this year. I mean, as a society in a pandemic moving online, but also specifically what E3 has learned this year, how that goes to inform future E3s. But let's go back to the fact that Devious Eye Entertainment has made an official E3 debut, and it has been amazing. Guys, it's been absolutely amazing. I can't wrap my head around it. Honestly, it has been more successful than any one of us had expected or prepared for. Last week during Media and Industry Week, we were one of the top trending booths on the entire site. During day 1, we were number 3. By day 2, we reached number 1, and we stayed number 1 until late Friday, early Saturday. So at the time that my little blurb was prepared for me, Devious Eye Entertainment's booth was trending at number 5 with 3,298 views and 1,888 followers. So I just want to take a moment on behalf of all of Devious Eye Entertainment, including Before the Storm and Dreamfire Games, to say thank you. I am personally overwhelmed. I know I'm not the only one, but just thank you. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the encouragement. Whether you've been supporting us from the beginning, whether you've been following for a few months, whether you just found out and started following with us this week, thank you, thank you, thank you. We would not be here. There's just no way to get where we are without support, without you guys, without this community that we're building. And we cannot wait to see what the future has in store for us. we're so excited to keep bringing you entertaining content from every facet of entertainment, from video games, from streaming, from film, from music. We're here for all of it, and we're just so blown away by the fact that you guys are here for all of it too. Yay! Just quick shout out to the chat. Panda said, I just took a peek at the booth's numbers. So DVSI Entertainment is number 5 in trending, 3,481 views, and 2,028 followers. That is just beyond mind-blowing, guys. We're very proud of what we've been able to do, and this is just the very beginning for us. And to be able to share this with you guys at E3 is the just... there's no words. There's no words for how excited, how honored, how just... everything we are to be a part of this and to be growing in community and to just get to share with you guys everything we've been working on for the past 5 years and everything that we're going to continue to pour ourselves into. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh. That's pretty much all I have for today's eSpot Live. For everyone who has been part of this again for a while, thanks for tuning in. For those of you who are new, I hope you enjoyed it. This is kind of the format of eSpot Live, is I just chat with you guys, and I have a lot of fun with it. I like to babble about topics. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. I am Ellie, this is Rodney. Rodney is the star of the show many times. Before I let you guys go, I would like to say that at 3 p.m. tomorrow, 2 of our leaders will be doing an interview with the Gamepreneur. So make sure you check that out if you're interested in the future of DVSI Entertainment, because you get some really cool info there. Also, be sure to join in with us right here on Twitch tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So that's going to be... I almost said 5. It's not 4 p.m. if you're on the other coast, for Getting Devious with Midnight Dynamite. So Luke Rosbaro, who was featured in one of the interviews during Just Press Start, will be coming back to DJ live on Twitch and to celebrate the end of E3 with DVSI Entertainment and everyone in the chat. The party will be all night long. Please come by and hang out with us. It's going to be a blast. We're all going to be here. There's going to be a live DJ. We're going to have fun with it. You'll get to see Luke again. Yeah. And then as well as that, eSpot Live will be back on Thursday. So live every Monday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. if you're on the other coast. Always happy to see people in the chat, to hang out, to babble, to chat. That was a little bit redundant, but it's okay. We've got someone in the chat. I don't want to butcher your name, but I don't know how I can attempt to say it without butchering. So 69 Bardic. How do you pronounce your name? Because I want to get this right. And says, oh, it's 3 a.m. for me. Oh my gosh. Well, thanks for joining. That's a time frame. All right, fair. Hang out when you can. It's always good to see you. Bartik. Can I call you 69 Bart? Or is that not what you want to be called? Let me know. Oh, you're laughing at me, so I am already butchering this. That's funny. You'd think I'd be better at pronouncing names because I have a name. All I know is I want to get it right for people, but I'm just not very good at it. But try it. Okay, gosh. Gosh, this is gonna be terrible. Bartikocek? Bartikocek is what I'm gonna go with. I'm 99.8% sure that's completely wrong, but Bartikocek. That's what I'm running with. Let me know. I want to know how badly I did. On a scale of fail to slightly less fail, let me know in the chat. Especially if you're up at 3 a.m. to hang out. I definitely want to try to get that right. I'm now stalling because I want to see how badly I butchered that name. But I do have to wrap it up. There's going to be a bit of a closing, and I'll be watching the chat to see what you have to say. But yeah, all I have to say, all I have left is thank you. From me, Ellie, from Rodney, whose thank you is very important, and from Devious Eye Entertainment. There are literally no words. I'm babbling, but there's still no words to express our gratitude, our excitement for the future, and just how happy we are to be able to share everything we've been working so hard on with you guys. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Hopefully I'll see you on Thursday, 9 p.m. In the meantime, stay healthy and happy, stay hydrated, take care of your kidneys, guys. Stay kind. And as always, stay devious.